Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World. Bit of a late night preview this evening, a bit later than normal, but it's okay. It's okay. We get ready. The championship is back. We are going to preview Cardiff City versus Plymouth Argyle for the next 20 minutes, half hour or so. But just as we wait for the latecomers, for the notifications to go out, all that good stuff, please do give it a share, a like. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, of course. Really helps us out a lot in finding more Cardiff City fans, finding new people and stuff like that. Very important for us as a channel to find those people. Spread the word, tell your friends, all of that type of stuff. You never know. By the time we get to 1,000 subscribers, we might have a new manager in place. You know, stranger things have happened. But we got lots and lots of stuff coming over the next couple of days. We have the preview now. Of course, tomorrow night, we have the 1927 Club match reaction show, newly branded as the 1927 Club with Matt and Reese, as they'll be reviewing the action at an earlier time of 7 p.m. tomorrow night. So look out for that. Get your comments in, get your opinions in of the game. And the boys will go through it for that initial match reaction. And then a bit later, Sunday evening, about 8 o'clock, we have the breakdown podcast where I will go into a bit more detail, having let it simmer for about 24 hours, and I'll have a look at some of the stats and stuff like that. And we'll probably have rewatched the game as well, and we'll kind of go into it in a bit more detail. So, both very, very valuable, very, very interesting. I think there's definitely 3 points up for grabs for Cardiff City tomorrow. It's certainly a winnable game. And I think whilst I actually think Wayne Rhodri is doing a half-decent job at the moment, and I think he's benefiting from that pre-season with Plymouth, and I quite like the way they play football and the way they set up. They got some good players. I also think it's a pretty winnable game for Cardiff. Statistically speaking, the two teams so far this season are very, very even. They're put my teeth in. The passing accuracy of both teams is almost identical. Cardiff's is 80.56% and Plymouth's is 80.89%. Blocked shots, Plymouth have had 29, we've had 27. Shots off target, we've had 37, they've had 47. Shots on target, we've had 31, they've had 39. So marginally better, but not a massive amount of difference in it. They've conceded 13 goals. We have conceded 18 goals. So it's and they've scored more goals. And I think that's the main difference in an attacking sense, is that they've scored more than us. The rest of the stats are relatively even coming into this game. It's going to be a real interesting one, because I don't think the league table necessarily tells the full story for either team. Cardiff obviously play host to Plymouth on Saturday afternoon, looking for the win, which will take them off the bottom of the championship table due to the kickoff time. The Bluebirds are propping up the table, let's be honest. But as I say, it's a bit deceptive, maybe. Plymouth sitting 14th. They've had a pretty good start under Wayne Rhodri, who will be sat in the stands as he's banned. But obviously, Omar Riza is still in the dugout for Cardiff. I don't think all fans expected him to still be here after the international break, or certainly to still be the interim boss. I kind of half expected it, but I was hoping. It'll be interesting to see how long he gets at the moment. With no announcement, you have to think until they say sort of outright that he's staying until January, or he's staying until Christmas, or he's staying until the end of the season. You have to think that he's on a game-to-game basis, you'd imagine. But it's definitely a strange one, because there's certain managers who they could have already got in. They clearly don't fancy 100%. So we go as we go. And he's definitely made an improvement. I thought even in that whole game there was an improvement. We finally got a win on the board, beating Millwall. We should have beaten Bristol City with the chances we had in that second half. We should have been 2 or 3 up, really. And that was disappointing. But, probably would have taken a point away to Bristol. before the game. Plymouth, their supporters will be pretty happy with Wayne Rooney. I think he's taken to life at home park. He's got 11 points from the first 9 games. Their home form has been real good, with Sunderland, Luton and Blackburn Rovers all being defeated during that sort of September to October international break there. So that was a real good period for them. Their only 2 defeats in the last 5 games have been by 1-0 scorelines as well, against West Brom and Burnley. So this is a group that is very together, and they'll be competitive in every single game. And what it means is Cardiff City will have to retain some of that good form that they've shown recently and go up another level if they're to get 3 points. I think it's an interesting one. I think a lot of people will probably go with a draw. For me, I look at part of the second half against Millwall. I look at that 20-minute period after half-time against Bristol. That's how Omar Riza wants to play football, and I think that's how these players are capable of playing football. So for me, if Cardiff can recapture that on a regular basis, they'll be more than fine. And I think we'll find ourselves going up the table relatively quickly. The Championship, as we all know, is a very odd one. You know, it can few wins and you're shooting up a table, and a few losses, and Cardiff will start to be cut adrift at the bottom. So it's important that we hit the ground running now after this international break and we get those points on the board, because there's no room for error now. We've obviously, from that point of view, we've put ourselves under a bit of pressure, and we can't afford any slip ups really. It's got to pick up some wins and get going. And I think this squad is perfectly capable of it. We just need to get that momentum going now. Got to take those chances. Because it was that was frustrating against Bristol to create such clear-cut chances and be playing so well, be 1-0 up at the time, and then not put them away. That was disappointing. But more importantly is that we created them, because we haven't created a lot of clear-cut chances. And I think we've seen more clear-cut chances in the 3 games under Omar Riza than we probably saw all season. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a bit of a tense watch. I think, Plymouth will look after the ball nicely. They've got some real good players. Morgan Whittaker is obviously the one that gets the headlines. But I like Obafemi. I like Sissoko. I really like Giabi as well in that midfield area. So if Cardiff aren't at it from the start, Plymouth will cause them a lot of issues. In terms of how Wayne Rooney's side will set up, they'll go in that 4-2-3-1 that we see, pretty much everywhere these days. Grimshaw in goals. I think it'll be Edwards, Suzik, Gibson, Mumba, and then it'll be Giabi, probably Randall. Although I think there might be a chance that Houghton will play alongside Giabi, but probably Giabi and Randall. Then Whittaker will play off the right, Al-Hajj as the number 10, Sissoko off the left, with Obafemi on through the middle. Again, there's a potential that you could see Ryan Hardy play through the middle. And I actually, from a Cardiff point of view, I think Ryan Hardy's a real good player, and I'd rather see Obafemi through the middle. For me, I think that would suit Cardiff a little bit better in the way we like to set up and defend. Importantly, from Cardiff's point of view, or one of the most important things is getting Jesper Darlin playing and getting him playing regularly, because I think he's got the potential, and certainly from the initial looks like a real good ball playing centre back. Brave, physical, quick, but good on the ball. Adds a bit of pace at the back there as well. So it'd be interesting who we go with actually, and who's fit, because I think long term, Fish and Darland will be the pair. I don't think. Just going to double check that. I did have a look earlier, but I don't think that Will Fish is fit. Isaac Davis back in training, maybe on the bench. Same with Atete. Probably a little bit too soon for either to make the bench now. But good signs that they're back, especially in Isaac Davis' point of view, because I think if we can get Isaac Davis playing through the middle like Callum Robinson does, I think that's a really good a duo that you can kind of interchange, give one of them an hour and then the other 20 or 30 minutes, and they could do some real damage. They certainly give me much more confidence than a Tete or flipping Kanga or some of the others that we've tried. So I think that's real good news that Isaac Davis is back in the picture. Yeah, I thought Will Fish was back in training, so hopefully he's fit to play, because if we could start with Will Fish and Darland as your centre backs, I'd be very happy with that. I think it was Reese just said, I've lost it now, but in the comments said, Obafemi, that pace and that power will be really, well, if I was him, I'd be trying to isolate Chambers and get up against him one-on-one with or without the ball. It feels like that would be really difficult. And from a Cardiff point of view, team-wise, I'm going to go with what I would go with. So this isn't necessarily what I think Omar Riza will pick. This is what I would pick. But I would go with Alnwick in goal. I don't think that's a shock. I would go with Darland and Fish as the centre-back pairing. I think that's the future of Cardiff City's central defence. And then right back, I'm going Perry NG. Looked a bit better in recent games. And I go Joel Bagan. I think he's been a real, not surprise, but a pleasant improvement on him since he's come back from his loan. And I think he's made that left back place his own for now. And he adds a bit more going forward, in my opinion. He's good on the ball. He's aggressive as well, which I like. So that would be my back five. And then I'm going Alex Robertson. And I'm going to go with, and some people will like this, some people won't. I'm going to go with Siopis. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that I rate Gyabi and Sissoko in those sort of midfield and attacking areas. And I think Siopis can do a good job of keeping them quiet and closing them down quickly. He also, I thought, had an excellent game against England the other day, which shows that if he's got the right players around him, he could play as an out-and-out six, do the pressing, win the ball, easy little balls to a side. He would be my choice. Some people will go with Rolls, and I don't really have a massive issue with that. And I probably expect Omar Riza to go with Rolls, but I would like to see Robertson and Siopis in that midfield duo. Nice bit of solidity with Siopis sitting. Let Alex Robertson be a bit more box-to-box. And then I expect the front four to be the same. Ollie Tanner one side, El Ghazi the other side, Ruben in the 10, with Callum Robinson then in the number 9. Potential changes. You might bring Mate in, O'Dowda. Obviously, we mentioned Joe Rawls. You've got David Turnbull, Chris Willock. They're starting to get some players back. For me, that 11 that I've just said is pretty much the best 11 that we can put out, I think. Maybe like Rawls and Siopis interchanging. But that's probably our best 11 at the moment, I think. You know, in terms of form, youth, legs, for that system at least. You know, if you're going to change to wing backs and 3 at the back and the rest of it, or 2 up front, it's obviously different. But if we're going to play 4-2-3-1, Robinson, Colwell, Agalzi, Tanner, Robertson, and Siopis with that back 5, I think is the best 11 that we can put out. And I think it's a good 11 as well. El Ghazi's finding his feet more and more with each game as he gets fitter. I think his link-up play with Colwell has been really good. In fact, I think Colwell has linked up really well with Tanner, with Robinson and El Ghazi. And when we can get that as a group going as well, I think there's certainly potential there. One thing I would like to see, and my man to watch actually for Cardiff City this week is Callum Robinson. Callum Robinson has really impressed me this year since pre-season. He's really impressed me with his attitude, his work rate. The one thing I want to see him change, because I think his finishing's been pretty good. The one thing I want to see him change is I would like to see him retain his position a bit higher up the pitch. In some of the games, he's dropped in a bit too deep for my liking. And when you go to his heat map, for his average heat map for this season, is very deep for a number 9. I'd like to see him play on that last man, stretch the defence, creating a bit of room for El Ghazi and for Colwell, for Tanner to get in down the side, and Bagan. And I think that's where Callum Robinson can be at his most dangerous, is running in behind. Because if you can get Ruben Colwell on the ball, driving at the defence, with Robinson running in behind, El Ghazi and Tanner with him, I think we showed against Bristol, we can create chances. We can cause teams extreme problems. So it'll be really interesting to see if we can continue that creation of chances and goal scoring opportunities. Callum Robinson's XG for the season, expected goals, is 0.90, just under 1 a game almost. So his expected, he's having enough chances to almost score a goal a game. So we need him to really get in those positions now. But he hasn't missed any big chances. So big chances missed, 0. So whilst his XG is high, it means he's getting in good areas, but he's not getting those clear-cut chances. And when he has got them, he's finishing them pretty well. He's having on average just over a shot a game. He's got 2 goals this season. Both goals coming from inside the box. He's averaged 7 out of 10 rating this season. I think he's been really, really impressive. And that largely is down to his mentality and his attitude. He's worked incredibly hard. And it's been almost like Jekyll and Hyde for him this season to last season. And I've got a video coming out next week on that and comparing his stats and his performances this year and last year. Is it as simple as his attitude's better, his work rate's better, he's got his head down, or is there more to it? He's 29 years old now. He's quite a deceptively quick, like he's quite a big boy, but he's by no means a target man. But I think Cardiff play at their best with this current system and this current team when they have a forward who gets in behind. And I think that's why Callum Robinson's the best choice for the number 9. I also think he happens to be our best finisher. And I think when Isaac's up to speed, unless you need to change it and you need to go with a more target man type forward, having Isaac come in 20 minutes here and there, 10 minutes to come on for Callum Robinson, again, will benefit the team. Again, Ruben links up really well with Isaac Davis as well. And defensively, Callum Robinson's been doing quite well as well. He's won some ground duels, about 60% of his ground duels. Aerial duels, he wins sort of 67%. He's had 80% successful dribbles as well. So, when he gets on the ball, he's beating the man, he's doing something with it, statistically speaking. So I believe that, Callum Robertson is the danger man for Cardiff. He's the one who can stretch the defences. He's the one who can create that space for some of the other players as well as scoring his goals. He's been obviously nursing an injury. I think they said he's going to be fit to play. But I think that's the other thing, is if he has got that little bit of an injury, being able to bring in Isaac Davis, a like for like pretty much striker, is a big bonus, because I think Isaac in this system with these players could be dangerous through the middle. Obviously, he can play wide as well, but I think for me, I believe that he can cause a bit of problems. And I think if Isaac can hit the ground running and we can get both of them scoring, that might be exactly what Cardiff need. Because at the start of the season, we just didn't look like scoring from a finishing point of view, from a chance creation point of view. It just didn't look good at all. We've scored 4 goals in the league this year. Obviously got to change. 4 goals in 9 matches is not good enough. But for me, the change in chances created and goal scoring opportunities created since Omar Reese has been in charge is quite, like, it's obvious to see from the eye test. Reese just said there, Ruben needs to stay a bit further forward. He's dropping back too deep to pick up the ball. Leave him at the field. Yeah, I agree with that, mate. Something I've said for a while is he gets frustrated when the ball doesn't cut. Like, he'll pick up pockets of space, and then the ball doesn't get played, whether it's because it's someone who's not capable of playing it, or whether it's just it doesn't come. And then the next time he'll go a bit deeper. And then sometimes in those really frustrating games under Bullet, by heart, just into, our mark, he'd be taking it off the centre back in his own half. And that's not where you want him. You want him facing up the centre back and running at him, getting in that little space behind the sort of defensive midfielder, finding up those little pockets, and then linking up with your Tanners and your El Ghazis. They've got a really good understanding. And I'm excited. I know some people don't or aren't sure about Omar Risa. I actually think that I've seen enough that I'm quite quietly excited by some of the stuff I see. Like, I'm seeing patterns of play now that I was not seeing under Errol Bullock. I'm seeing a press as a unit, which I was not seeing under the previous manager. And look, I don't want to make it into this thing of bashing the old manager. I'm more saying that this interim manager I can see signs that he's doing certain things that are going to improve the team. Because I do think that, if we can get Callum Robinson scoring, Ruben can chip in with a couple, El Ghazi can chip in with a couple, O'Dowd, Robertson, and then your Willocks and people like this, they've all got to chip in. And I want to see that from all of them. Tanner chips in with a couple. Let's get Turnbull doing something, because he's still, we're still waiting for him to turn up to the party. Kanga hasn't scored a goal. These guys have got to contribute. And hopefully in this system and the way we're playing now, where we're creating more sort of goal-scoring opportunities, that's where these guys can all start to chip in. So fingers crossed. In terms of Plymouth and my team player to watch, there's a couple, really. Like, I really am a big fan of Morgan Whittaker. I like Ryan Hardy. I think it was Jonathan mentioned him earlier in the comments, like saying that he wanted to sign him in the summer. I really like Ryan Hardy, but I agree with Reese that Oberfemi, I think, will cause Callum Chambers all sorts of problems, which is why I kind of hope that Will Fish plays. But with regards to Plymouth, my one to watch is going to be Darko Gyayabi. Really do like him. He's a strong midfielder, technically very good, creative, defensively sound, and averaging just under 7 out of 10 a week. So he's pretty solid. Like, he'll put in a 7 out of 10 every week. He's been impressive this year. He's been impressive without being exceptional for me. I think he's capable of more, but I also think that he's got that in him, and I believe he will step up as the season goes on. He'll get better and better. Hopefully not tomorrow. Averages sort of 2 tackles a game. He recovers the ball, at least twice a game on average. Clearances, couple of per game. So he's defensively very solid. He also, he wins 54% of his total duels, 54% of his ground duels, 58% of his aerial duels. He doesn't give the ball away loads. And I just think that if we can keep him pretty quiet, we'll be in good stead. He's got a big boy again, strong, athletic. He's 19, 20, young boy. And I like him a lot. And, in the future, you never know where he might end up playing his football. But I think he's a good one. But again, Morgan Whittaker, Sissoko, they're all good footballers. And what I think Wayne Rooney's done well is he's accumulated like a nice little group of athletes, of technically proficient footballers who are strong, physically, speedy, comfortable on the ball. I really like Ibrahim Sissoko. Ibrahim Sissoko is another one I like. Obviously, Morgan Whittaker is the one who kind of takes the plaudits a lot of the time. He's the big name, if you like. But, Ibrahim Sissoko has averaged sort of 7.2 down that left-hand side out of 10 per game. Lots of dribbles. His XG for the season is just under 1.5. He scores every sort of 190 minutes or whatever. It's like goal per game is like 0.3, but his shots per game and over 2, which is quite high. He scored 3 goals from inside the box, as well as this is the ones which catches my eye with Ibrahim Sissoko is the key passes. He makes just under 2 key passes a game. His accuracy is on average about 77% passing accuracy in a game. He looks after the ball and does very well with it. He defensively doesn't do a lot, but that's not his job. But he does recover the ball a little bit, so I think he's decent in the press, and he's quick. So at 21 years old, again, another athletic and technically good player. So Joe Bagan or Pierre G will need to be at their best to keep him quiet. In terms of my predictions for the game, I'm never going to go against City, but I do think it's going to be a tough game. And I'm going to go with, tell you what, I'm going to go with 3-1 to Cardiff, but on one caveat. I heard that Adam Randall has got a bit of a knock. If Adam Randall plays, I'm going to go 2-1 Cardiff. If Adam Randall is out, I'm going to go 3-1 Cardiff, because I think he's an exceptional player. I've been very, very impressed with him in the centre of midfield. And I also think Cardiff is still searching for that midfield combination to quite get it to click. We've seen Rinamoto, we've seen Rawls in recent weeks, we've seen a bit of Siopis, but not much. It's finding the right partner to play alongside Alex Robertson. And when we do, I think it's all going to kind of click into place in the middle of the pitch. But I think Plymouth are quite strong in the middle area with Adam Randall and Guy Abbey in there. So, yeah, I fancy us, though. I was impressed by what we've done against Millwall and against Bristol. I was impressed by us in the attacking areas. So, yeah, I'm going to go with a City win. Remember now, Reese and Matt will be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And it's going to be a fun time. Reese says, how's the radio going? Yeah, so at the moment, I'm just kind of finding my feet a little bit on the breakfast show on a Friday and a Monday for Newport City Radio. But I should have some information on a football phone-in show soon on Cymru Sport Radio, as well as doing my Newport City Radio stuff, as well as Cardiff City World and ACEpodcastnation. So lots and lots of stuff going on at the moment. Busy. Let's have a look at some of these comments before I chip off for the evening, because I've got to be up early for my son's football. Jonathan says, I wanted us to sign Ryan Hardy. That's how much I rate him. But Obafemi really turns it on against us. Yeah, Obafemi's got all the traits of a player who troubles Cardiff City. He's big, he's fast, he's technically good, he's a decent finisher. So, yeah. It's interesting. Reese says, Omar Reese has shot himself in the foot with his bench selection. I felt no youth, no pace, no excitement on the bench against Bristol. What was the bench against Bristol? Let's have a look. So we had Darland, Halworth, Kanga, Mate, O'Dowda, Rinamoto, Siopis, Turnbull, Willock. Yeah. So compare that to the bench we had against Millwall, and there's quite a considerable difference if I go off my memory, which is not always the best, in fairness. But I'm sure against Millwall, we had quite a few or a couple of young options on there. Yeah, we had Kean Ashford, Capaccio, as well as, you know, your Turnbulls and your Kangas and that. And I agree. I think having that pace on the bench is vital. It's why, like, I understand what people say about Reindorf not being ready. I would love to see him on the bench. I think it's be interesting. Jonathan says we need 6 points from Plymouth and Portsmouth because we have another 3 tough games after that. Yeah, I think we just need to start winning games, mate. And I do think that once we get a bit of a run together, I think we'll be okay. It's just building a bit of confidence now. Paul says would like to see Ruben be a bit more a bit more selfish, go for goal. Yeah, I don't disagree with that either. Matthew says Leeds beat Sheffield United 2-0 this evening. Paul says 2-1 to Plymouth is his guess. Yeah, I'd like to. Matthew says, let's hope we start the game well and not wait until the second half before we start playing. Yeah, that's something that I really think that would be vital to us making a good fist of it from the start, is start quick. Don't give Plymouth any time to settle. They're a technically good side. They press well. They look after the ball. So don't let them settle. Do not let them settle in that first 15 minutes. Get into them. Give them a few nudges and a few digs and let them know they're in a game from the start. What we did against Leeds was a disgrace. We just backed off. Just let them settle into the game. I don't want to see that. I want to see us get into people's faces and make them know they're in a game. Reese says, come and say hello to him and Matt if you want, in the Canton stand, 103. Very friendly. Yeah, I'm not there tomorrow. I'm my son's football clashes with it, so I'm Lisvane proud. So yeah, unfortunately, I won't be there. Reindorf needs to be on the bench at least tomorrow. He's earned the right now, surely. Yeah, you think so, mate. But the people I speak to who watch the 23s do say he is not ready. But my point is always, how many times have we seen players, not just from Cardiff, from other clubs, who are the next big thing, going to be the greatest player ever, and they make the step up for men's football and they struggle with it. And then sometimes players who are maybe not that highly rated come in by chance for an injury or something, and they take to it like a duck to water. It's just one of those things. So, yeah, I agree he should be on the bench just because he gives something different. He gives energy, he gives legs, particularly while Isaac Davis is not up to fitness. I would have Reindorf on the bench because for me, Kanga is running out of chances for me. And that's not because I don't think he's good enough. That's because of his body language, his effort levels, and his general refusal to put himself about a bit. He's had opportunities, more opportunities than some others, and hasn't done that. So for me now, I'm looking at Reindorf until Isaac comes back. And if I'm not looking at Reindorf, never, and anyone who watches knows this is not my favorite player, but I'd play Mate ahead of Kanga. At least I know Mate is going to put himself about a bit and make it difficult for his opposition defenders. Reese says, use the width of the pitch. I'm so tired of saying how wide men drifting narrow kills us. Tanner and Colwell did that really well against Bristol, linking up on that right-hand side and getting in behind. So that's another one. Paul says, Oberfemi worries me. That's why I've gone 2-1 loss. We have struggles against big lads recently. Hopefully, mate, we'll go with Fish and Darland, with Darland on that left-hand side, because I think they're both capable of dealing with him. They both read the game really well as well. And I think they'll be a good duo. But let's give them a bit of patience. They're both young men coming back from, time out, just like we would give academy players a bit of time. Let's give them time as well, because I do think that they will be they'll be the central defensive partnership for for a few years to come with a bit of luck. So, yeah, let's get behind them, get behind the team, and let's see where we are, because I believe that this squad is good enough. We just need to build a bit of momentum, get that confidence up, keep playing how we have been playing, and then I think we're going to kick into gear. And I believe that that's the way to go. As well as being a member on Patreon now, patreon.com/acepodcastnation. You can also become a member directly through Cardiff City World's YouTube channel. Just press join if you're subscribed, and it'll give you the options and stuff like that. You'll get all the same rewards that you get on Patreon, plus a couple of YouTube exclusive ones like stickers and emojis and stuff like that. But you'll also get early access to the next live event, which should be announced soon. Just working out some final logistics to that. Gutas has been excellent recently, and yeah, I think the most likely we'll see Gutas and Darland. I like Will Fish and Darland, and I would like to see them together. But I think Gutas deserves to start as well. But then again, mate, I also said that I pretty consistently have said I think we suit three at the back, three centre backs. But I ain't picking a team, no, mate. And you are right, though. Gutas would be very unlucky to lose his place in the starting lineup. He's been very good since he was back. So yeah, if you'd like to become a member, join at Cardiff City World, and you'll be the first, and you never know, the first member on Cardiff City World. Maybe there'll be a little prize for you. Who knows? There you are. Look. And Matthew says you can also use the super chat option to support the channel. Yeah, so for the busier shows, like sometimes on a Saturday night and a Sunday night, there's like hundreds of comments coming in. If you want a question or a particular statement read out and you don't want us to miss it, the best way to do that is to have put a super chat in, because they come up in big bright letters for us, and they'll always be read out no matter what. Even if we run out of time or whatever it may be, they will always be read out. But guys, as always, appreciate your time, and we'll be back to normal time next week, I think, for the previews. But 7 o'clock tomorrow night for the match reaction show. Sunday night will be 8 o'clock. Monday night, the Cardiff City phone in. Tuesday night, we'll be dropping a video on the manager situation. Wednesday night will be the Flower Hour. Thursday night will probably be either a question of Cardiff City game show, more likely to be the video on Callum Robertson, and then Friday preview, Saturday match reaction. We go again, and we go again, and you never know, maybe, just maybe, Matthew and Donna and the girls will give us a little vlog or two tomorrow as well. You never know. Take care, my friends. You have a good weekend. And make sure you bring 3 points with you tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening. And it's been a pleasure, as always. Nice one.